And yeah, there is the question, what is the command for 3D cutaway? So you can use the shortcut of Control plus Y if you want to activate it, which will give you this. So this interface option will be here. If you don't see this, just make sure go to options, work environment, apply profile, and make sure you keep the architecture profile. So the default profile, you will be able to see the 3D cut over here. So make sure it is active. Only when it is active, you will see the symbols on the side, which you can set to this Control plus Y. You can use it. All right, so we will move ahead. So next one is creating this wall symbol. So for which we need to import certain attributes. So, like I mentioned, attributes are something that we will be addressing in the coming section, but this is another method of importing a set of attributes together. So we can go to options, element attributes, and one of the options here is called attributes at the end. So this is like a palette which you can use it, in which you will see all the attributes like layers, layer combinations, lines, spans, and everything. So you're literally managing everything here. So what I have done for the session is I've created something like this, considering there is a case where somebody will give you in the office all the attributes, required composite attributes for the project. So I have a button here that does import and export. These are the same button that you have seen when you were setting up the location settings. So I'll go for the import option. I browse to the file. So that is here, attributes. Yeah, attributes composite XML file. Give open, which will bring all the attributes to whatever is there in that file. But I need to focus mainly on the composite. So I'll click on composite, make sure all of them I need it and select it. One thing you can see is right next to all the names, you will see something like append. Those are the import option. Overwrite. So when it comes to append, that means that particular type is not there in your project. So it is going to add to your project. When you see something like override, there is already a similar name and similar type, and that particular setting is going to be changed. So that is where override comes into picture. So yeah, so these are the ones. And in the filter, you have 6 of them out of 52. I'll click on import. It will tell me like a warning that only these values can be imported. I just give OK. 52 attributes altogether. Yeah. So that means that all the dependencies also will be added except some of the external textures, which we will see as an issue also, but we will address it later. So that imports all the composites. Now, if I, let's say, select this slab and this slab and also this slab here, I want to change their properties. So I go to the settings, and here one of the properties to make it a composite. So I change. And now you can see there's a new folder called training, in which I have different type of composite. I'm just going for the retaining slab. This is something that I just created for this. And the reference plane, this is the same like the wall. If you remember, outside face, inside face, core outside, core inside, like that. But for slab, it is top or bottom. So I need to use the core top because I also have finishes and I want to maintain the core where I have given the lines for the reference. So I'll give OK. Now you will see those layers have been added. Don't worry about this checker box. This is because one of the properties missing, which we will address it by the end of the session, or when you're importing a file, merging a file, it will automatically be added. But yeah, that is one. And then we have one type here. Again, that also needs to be changed. So I go to the settings directly and do it. Change it to a composite. Go for this other type, top reference. And then we have that as well. So that creates it. Now we have for the shell as well, we can change it to a composite. And we will use the training roof sync. So it's going to create the composites for that. Now regarding the walls, so let's get back to level -1. And we have a couple of walls here that is of a composite. So we go to the wall setting. We make sure, just keep it to 0 for now. Composite instead of strut partition. In the training, we are going for the external wall type. So it's already created for you. So this is like a case where somebody is giving you all the information already. Now I'm making a mistake, as you can see, when I'm drafting the outside. It's core outside actually. That's fine. When I draw the core outside, it's actually coming on this side. So I need to flip it. So I don't change it to core inside because for me, I know that the walls outside is here. So what I do is I use this button for flip. When I do that, it will change its axis. In draw wall, I have the wall here that just change opacity and send it back so you will know what is happening. So I'll use the single segment option. One click and two click and it's done. So I have the wall put here. Now we'll go to the upper one, level 0, and activate the, oh, we have not got it. So new independent worksheet, 0, 0, create. And from here, I'll bring in the level 0 meter. Make sure it's matching. From the trace reference. And then we'll continue the wall. Take the wall tool with the whatever settings that is being given. And now we are drafting on the first floor. Sorry, the level 0. So these are the walls that are at level 0. Level 1 is also there. We will do it in a different all together. But you can see right now what we have done. So we have a wall here that has been added with a composite, a wall here that is a composite, this is also composite. This is done in a different manner and we have something here. But I have an issue here that is it's not matching. Now, how do we address it? So there are many ways of doing it. And one of the ideal method would be to cut it out using the roof. So for the column also, we can see that those kind of issues are still there because the column is something like this. It needs to properly cut. So one of the method that we have is whatever needs to cut. So for example, I'm just taking the wall here. And on the top, you have something called here, this option that is trim elements to roof or shell. You can also right click and access it. But if you click on this one, it will ask me click an element to use as a trimming element. And that is going to be our shell. Then it will ask you which part do you want to keep? Do you want to keep the top part or do you want to keep the bottom part? I want to keep the bottom part. So when I click, it will trim that particular segment. You can see, and it does the same for columns as well. So if we select all the columns, and I use the same option here, trim elements to roof or shell. Click on the roof, which side to keep. I need to keep the base. So I click there and the columns are trimmed. Beam also, I can do the same method. You use the trim, but I have so many beams here and all the unnecessary beams are also getting selected. So if I want to selectively take, I'll just go for only this manual selection. If we group it and work on it, then it will be even more easier. So yeah, you can take those decisions accordingly. So which you want to keep, you do that, and then we get a clean junctions in those areas. All right, so that was level 0. And when it comes to level 1 and to bring another worksheet, there also we have some walls. Level 1, and we will right click and give that particular option. So that's a wall here. So we go for the wall tool that just blocks those lines. This is also going to be extruded all the way up, which we need to cut. So let me do that. So remember, select the items. You can also select the roof together in case you want to do it. So when you do that, it will tell me that it is already in the selection. Then I just need to do a trim. It will automatically do the cut. You can see I have a plain option. So I have to put one more wall here, friend. It would be after this. Or instead of that, I could also just elevate the wall all the way here because there is no beam. I could go all the way to here. Yeah. Okay. So one of the advantage of the trim option, what we did is it is a parametric character. So even if I change the wall, it will still remain which element is, it will still remember which element is cutting. And then it will cut it even though I do the changes to this. So now you can see how to get there. Now, if I take the 3D cutaway and make a cut through these elements, you will be able to see the beam here and then the composite wall where Wherever there is RCC, it's already joined. Other materials are already cut, the blaster and all these things here, and you can see those properties. And on the slab, even though slab is going all the way to the end, it already merged with the beam and it merged with the RCC here. And you can see how the blaster is being cut by these two elements. And you can change this by changing the properties of material, which we will see in the comment section. So I hope you understood the part of where how we bring in a composite, how we assign these elements. So in a proper typical file, if you are working in an office, you will be creating this type of composite walls. Now, whoever is responsible person for that, so we call that person like a BIM coordinator or BIM manager, depending on the role that you're taking. And that person creates all these types for the project, and they will be giving it to you. These are the composite we will be working for, so we will be using for the project. And then you add it to your project and you can work. Sometimes we may have a template also where all these things are prepared and ready, where you just have to pick from the settings and do it. So our work becomes easier. Now, advantage of working here is, as you know, when we were doing all this, we had told the system that this is the core, this is the finish, and all this kind of properties. Now, if I want to stage-wise change these details, I could just go all the way down here, and this is called partial structure display, and in which we have 4 options. 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Now it is on entire model, so you're seeing all the details. But if I change to without finishes, it will remove whatever is considered as a finish. So you can see there was a plaster that is been removed. There was actually a tile layer that was removed. And here you can see there was a top layer of a sink that is being removed. But what is there is right now some kind of a wood, or here I have some kind of a filling. And those are considered not as a finish, but other. So they are visible. And whatever is a core, that is also visible. If I go to core only, you can see now I can see one for the floor slab. I see only the RCC part. I don't see the filling which was there, or the concreting that was done before below. So like that, I'm filtering out. And here also, if you notice, I don't have that plaster, the wood part or the insulation part that was done for this particular roof. So you can stage by stage, you can change it. And if I go to core of load bearing, you will see whatever is not considered as load bearing element, they are removed from the view, and you will focus now only on this part. So like this, you can easily switch between these structure elements, I would say, and then you can have a good presentation and communication with the people you're trying to call. So I'll just save the file, and we have one more composite here. So that one I'll change the top. I'll just give it a 0 for now. That's it. With this. So I have a different type. All right. So that's about bringing the composite and working. I will move ahead for the doors and windows. So I'll be showcasing one door and one window for the project, and I would like you to explore as much as possible. So we'll start from here, that is level -1. And we'll activate level -1 now. Roll plan drawing. Well, you can see I have a door, and the door has a width of around 820. And the height is going to be whatever the height comes with, 2050 probably, otherwise without the finish, 1985. So that is a dimension that we have. So I hope I'll remember, but I'll go to the settings, that is to the door settings. So do a double click. Same method. You can see there are 2 segments. One left side you have the library, and right side you have the settings, similar to the attributes what we have seen. So you can go through the library here. So this is part of the loaded library where you have object library. There are multiple things if you have added an extra library. So object library, in which you have basic library, and if that you are using the door library especially. And from here, I can go for different categories. And for me, I just need a hinge door, and that hinge door would be a single door like this. If I want something different, I could take something different and start editing. Now, first step is to select the door with respect to the function. So similar way you can select your windows also. The whole point is that you select the type first. And on the right side, you have all the settings. So starting with the preview and positioning. the major dimensions, like this is the height. So I have something like 1985, and the width of the door, it is 820. So it will also update the preview here. So this is the plan view, this is the elevation view and 3D view. So you can keep whichever view you want, and you can edit it. And I think the sill height, so this is more like the offset value from the reference line. So that is from the ground floor or the level -1, what we are doing it here. And then you can set up these properties. And this is about the placement, similar to the reference line. This is called anchor point, whether you are placing it the center of the door or right side of the door or left side of the door, like that. If I open it, you will see even more options. So these are hinge door settings. So this is a collection of lot of parameters, starting from this nominal size and tolerance, door settings and openings, frame dimension, natural ventilation. So many things are there. I wanted to go through one by one and start editing these properties. So if I go to door leave, I could search for a different type altogether. As this is a toilet door, probably I'll keep it something closed. So let me take something like this. You can see it's already showing an update. I want a handle, so I'll make something like this. Going further, I can work on the frame width and also the other information that is required with respect to the panel. And when it comes to the handle, what is the height and what is the position, and how do you want to open the door, what is the angle in 3D and 2D that you want to showcase, and with respect to the material or surfaces, what surfaces are you using for the door. So what I did is I made it uniform, and then I just made everything to be the same type, but there is still something remaining that is like the casing. You can address it separately. The reveal settings, how do you want it to add connected to your wall, those properties can be edited. And the closure details, if you want to add a masonry arch on the top, you activate it. Casing is there right now. If I don't want it, I can remove it. It will be removed. If I want a threshold, I can add there. You can see there is a preview already added the properties on that. And for all those new settings, again, I'll be able to control its material. So if I want to have a different material altogether, it changes. So like that, I would like you to explore what all are the possibilities with the different doors that we have. So you can place it in 3D. You can also place it in 2D as well. So let's just place it in 2D. So let me just go back to the plan. And you can see it's already snapping to that particular element what you said here. And what it does is, it always has to go along with the wall. So that is like a rule, especially when it comes to doors and windows. You can see it snaps to a wall. Any wall that you do, except curtain wall, it will snap to that. And here, it also shows a symbol of a sun. So that is actually asking which is the outside. So I'm considering outside of the toilet as the outside of the wall. So I'll just go snap to this point and click. Then it will ask you, how do you want to open the door? So I want to open the door to this side. So I just play around, figure out how I want to open. Then I'm ready, I click. So that will place the door here. Now when I look at it in 3D, you will see the door that has been cut through both the side of the wall. Yeah, so that's about the door. And the window is also going to be very similar. So let's say I want to place a window here. I just check on the upper floor, probably level 0. Yeah, I have a couple of windows. Here. Yeah, so I have a window here, and the dimension is around 1720. So that is a width. Height, I'm not going to worry about it right now, but I will change it soon. So what I'm going to do is I'll take the window tool, same method. First, we need to figure out what type of window I want. So I go to the library, try to find out. So I need a sliding window. So I go to sliding window. How many sliding? I need a 2 such sliding window. And these are the settings where I can set up the details. So let me just go for a random dimension and then edit it later. And here is here are all the settings that we have. This is the placement, same like the door. So similar like the door and windows are a similar type when it comes to placement. Here I can go for what type of pane I want to use and what type of opening I'm looking at. I want to open both sides. What are the uniform types? So whether I want a uniform frame width across and what is that particular dimension, and whether I want a uniform sashes, if I want some kind of a grid on the top, what are the dimensions I need, So this is something I want you to practice and check. They are very simple. You try changing these dimensions, your 3D preview will be updated. So this is something requires some amount of practice and testing to understand which option is located on which dimension. Sorry, which settings. So going further, materials and all the aspects are there. Once it is done, same like the door, you define the outside, click, and which side you want to open the door, sorry, window here, and that. So when I click right now, as I mentioned, this is a small window because I did not define the dimension. But we have an option when it comes to doors and windows of Archicad, that is being able to edit it. So if I want to stretch it, I could just click on one of these points, and in the pet palette, I have this option called Move Node. If I take that, I can stretch the window, and it will affect only that particular window. Now, if I want a same window to be placed here, I could just hold Alt and move my cursor. And when the window is highlighted, click. What it does is all the properties of that particular window will be the new settings. Now using that, I can just place the window. So that Alt and click will matter for many other things. If I want to right now place this column, I could hold Alt and click. Now whenever I place a column, it will be of that type. You can see if I want suddenly this particular beam to be drafted, I Alt and click. If I want this beam to be drafted, I Alt and click, and then I continue to be that. So Alt key is going to help you to speed up your process a lot. Try to practice. Hold Alt, and you will see that pipette kind of a symbol. I think it is called pipette. And you can, once it is highlighted, you click. Then you inspect the settings if it is correct or not. Then you can continue. Now let's look at 3D. So we have a door here, and then we have placed a couple of windows. Now this needs to be addressed. Like I mentioned, if you click on one of the corner point, the palette will give you more option to edit. So I'm just going to reduce the height. I'm going to do the same thing for these two as well. I think I should move it a bit more low, something like this. Yeah. And then we have those things added. I think because of this slab is being very thick, it's interfering with that. But anyway, so you can define. I think this beam was supposed to be lower with respect to its calculation. So if I inspect that in the section, I'll be able to see, yes, the beam is wrong. It is supposed to go all the way to down. So you click on it, stretch it, and only that particular beam will be affected. Now window is there in the section that also needs to be reduced. So I'll stretch it in section and I'll do it. Here it will be updated and it is going to be there. So you can see I'm making use of my section, plan, elevation, 3D all together in the same time to make sure I have the right model. So this need to be elevated, as you can see, and I can just elevate it that way. Yeah, so that's about doors and windows. Anybody has any doubt? All right. Okay, thank you. So we will move to the next part. I wanted to explore some more other things for this. We won't be taking this break because we are already at the last part, and that is going to be facade panels creating this. I'll showcase it to you 2 occasions how we can do it. So we are getting back to our curtain wall tool only. So this is another application where you can create this kind of, the blue is not highlighted. So this particular thing, how to make this, and this is the same like this and same like the similar properties. And something like this as well, I'll show it to you when you have a complex shape altogether like this and you have a curve. So how to place these kind of things with similar properties. Yeah. So for that, what we need is we need to have a pattern and a member size, and then we are going to replicate the same thing, including one panel of that. So we get back to level -1, and we will activate the level -1 option, and we have the facade. Oh, sorry, architectural one, that is FP. So level -1. And you can see the member is having a different profile altogether. So I need to see the dimension and work. So I'm going to use the dimension tool here. Double click to get the settings, and then you can define what should be the dimension of the text, what should be the dimension, what type of witness line that you want to use, whether you want a pointer, and all these settings are here, typical like many other software that we have. How do you place a dimension? Click on the points where you want, then do a double click and one more click to place this element. So this is also going to be same, 1, 2, 3, 4. Double click here, which will place it. And I see that it is really huge. So for the scale I'm working, so I'll give 0.1. And also the thickness of the markers are also really big, which I need to change here. Oh, sorry. That is not a marker. This text, this is more precise. But there's no change. Values architecture will take. It's better to. All right. So this is, I think, yeah, I can understand the dimension. And overall is 0.8. Okay, so I have a reference of the dimension to work with. And now I'll get to our curtain wall tool, double click to the settings, and we will approach in the same method. First is to start with the scheme, where the scheme is almost correct, but I need a frame. So I go to the frame setting, create a new one. So facade frame. And I need to make a new one instead of facade frame. Okay. And the properties, I need something like this, as you see in the image. And this is, this is actually meters. So if your unit is shown in meter, you can come here in the view settings where it is written plain meter to millimeter so that you can see the dimensions in different unit altogether. Whether you want it in feet and inches also, you can do that. Now I know this should be 30 and this should be 80. And to the center, then it should be around 40. And these are the thickness values. So I just give 5 and 5 for now. Or 10. That also will do. Because I have not given a reference. I need to just measure it and do it. But I'm just going with this. So let me make it 20. So panel thickness I'll give it. So that makes the frame. I can now copy and paste it to these ones as well. So I just made sure that all the properties are transferred between these three. I'll go back to the scheme, make sure assign to these two. Instead of partition frame, we are going for facade frame. And the dimensions are correct. And finally, we need to create a panel. So I need to click on add, go for new, and I will name it as glass panel. There is already main panel and distinct panel. I'm just making new just for you to understand. And from the material, I can select the type of panel. And I give OK. Not yet. I need to make sure the main settings are also correct. So here it is partition frame face. We don't have partition frame. We have a facade frame. So I make sure I change to that. Now when I draw, I can probably start from here and then probably flip it so that it will go on the other side. Go all the way till the end and place. But I have an issue. Can anybody tell me what is the issue here? You can use chat or you can also unmute and speak. Probably this will be the only question I would ask. Can you tell me what is the issue?
Divisions.
New one. Divisions. Yeah. You're almost there. Actually, it is the scheme pattern, starting origin, how it is being done. So I could, like you mentioned, I can divide it from the center to both the sides. All right, good. So we go to scheme. We go with the pattern origin. We use the center option so that it will be equally distributed. Now you can see they are placed exactly where it is supposed to be. So I'll just remove all these dimensions from here. And when I turn off the reference, you will be able to see that. And one more issue that I have not assigned the panel if I'm not wrong. So let me go to the settings, and here is some deleted panels too. So I'll go and make sure I use the glass panel. And you can see the panel thickness. So that is a second issue that is being added. All right, but I have still some issues like where it is starting, where it is ending. So I may have to pull it up to the level of the finish. So if I know the finish level, it will be easy for me, or I can just use a section to understand also. And I can click on this point and stretch it down so it places in the correct location. And if I want to add a door or a window, if you remember the edit mode, I can still use the edit mode. And if I want a door here, I can just select the panel, and from the type, I could change to a door. But I want a sliding door that is on this and this. So one of the options that we have is just deleting the center panel. Sorry, the frame will automatically merge the panel together. Now I can change that to probably a door. So you can see it's already a door here. But if I want a sliding, I go to the settings by accessing this particular point, and I think there is already a double door sliding. Yeah, so there is a door sliding already. I could change it to sliding door here. I mean, there are many things to change here, like the frame thickness and all these aspects are here. I want you to explore it and check how it is. So that will do the job. Now, if I want something on the side, it is just picking the parameter of this, and I could just draft it even in 3D. So you can see it's already worked with the properties. Now, I was mentioning what happens when it comes to a complex shape. So in this, we are just going to change the drafting type. So instead of we going for this chain method or line, what we are going to use here is a boundary method. So this is going to be very similar to how we drafted a shell, where we have to place a plane, and then on the top of that, we are going to draft. So for our case, we have to make a plane on this area. So I can just pick the plane directly from here also. So this is where we do the plane input method. If it is not, it will consider the XY plane. Otherwise, you can make use of this option where I will click on this one. It will show you this is the working plane. Now I need to just draft the outline. So first point, second point, third point here, fourth point all the way up. Then I use the 3-point arc option. Probably I'll click here and click here to define. And last point I'll click, and it creates. Now, it may not require this particular option where you can see that it is actually doing a mistake. Well, not exactly a mistake, but it's having cut pieces on the side. So you can change that by changing it to the start origin option. So from here, it will start the pattern and give you a cut piece update. So this kind of things can be done. Another application is if you want to create a false ceiling, I could use a curtain wall tool itself, create a new scheme altogether. Probably I'll go for like 600 by 600. If that is the tile size. And I will create a custom frame for the sides. Otherwise, you can also go for a division where it will be same. And in the frame, I can also set up these properties. So right now they are a partition frame. So instead of this, and just discard, go to the settings and do that again by giving 600 here and 600 here. And this one is glass panel, and this is the facade frame at this point. So all I do is I just change the facade frame to be invisible, and I can give a gap also if you want to see. So 5, and the panel is already glass. So instead of glass, what I do is I just change it to something. So we might be creating a different panel for the false ceiling altogether. And then I could select which type I wanted, give OK. Then it will ask you for a plane. So I need a horizontal plane. So I could use the first method itself if I want to. And I'm going to go through this point, come back to the last point, and it will create here. It's actually in the XY plane, which I need to move to another reference. So you can see it's on level -1 and go to 0 and give it a small offset of -300. You can see I have a ceiling pattern. So same curtain wall tool is what I used. I gave a pattern. I just place it on a different direction. This would be the another option that you would be looking at. So yeah, I hope you understood that. I want you to practice curtain wall a little bit more and try to achieve something like this image in your practice. And We will again start the coming session half an hour early. If you have any doubt, please make sure to ask. Uh, we will just give a confirmation whether the session is on Monday or Tuesday. It might be shifted to Tuesday. We will get the confirmation by tomorrow. So because of some personal issue, I may not be able to take the session on the Monday evening. So yeah, we will see it mostly on Tuesday. So thank you, everyone. In coming session, we are going to go mostly into the internal part of Archicad. So we are going to understand how the tools are structured and how everything is being done. So this particular interior model we will be adding in the coming session. And after that, we will understand the concept of attribute in and out completely. After attribute, we will also look at how to create a site model and all these aspects. So make sure to practice and understand how the interface is where things are located. The next session is going to be a little bit faster comparing to the first and second session because those are going to be mainly considering that you understood the fundamentals. So please make sure to practice. We watch the recording and do experiment with all the tools that are there and all the options. Read through the documentation as well. So yeah, that's it.